We're going to talk about some medicinal herbs and stuff that I'm going to be planting. I know a lot of y'all are curious about stuff that I plant. And we're just sitting out here out front. It's getting a little later in the afternoon. And I know y'all are all wondering where Mr. Brown's at. Mr. Brown is living his life. I'm telling you. He's fishing and he's hunting and he's going to New Mexico and he's going out to Colorado, and he has enjoyed his retirement so well, and that's what I want for him. But believe me, Miss Lori's going to throw that fishing rod at him one of these days, and I'm going to catch him and I'm going to reel him back in. But let's just let him enjoy himself just a little bit, because he will be back with us. I'm missing not cooking with him and sitting and talking with him, but that time's a-coming, believe me. But I just want to share something with y'all. Survival Garden Seeds. I love this company, and they sent me this is 36 heirloom seed packets. It's the ultimate medicinal herb collection, and I'm fixing to go out there now. I'm late planting these, but we are late planting our garden, period, except for our potatoes and stuff like that. Sweet potatoes. We got all that out real good. But Danny just Saturday, he just recently planted the green beans and the okra. Of course, okra doesn't like cool weather. It likes really hot weather, so you're good there, and green beans do too. We just have not get in just a big hurry this year, because it just seems like a lot of times we have to replant stuff because we got in too big a hurry. But I'm just going to call off some of the stuff that's in this packet. This is lavender, and I have lavender. I grow this every year. I have so much of it right now that I've dried in the house and put up, and I make sachets out of it. I make oils out of it. There's just so much you can do with lavender. I absolutely, a lot of people even use it in their baking and cooking. Lemon balm. I use this stuff, and it grows. It comes back every year, and I just absolutely love this stuff. I use it with my teas. I dry it for tea, or you can use it, just harvest it and make tea out of it, kind of like a green tea, or you can dry it and I'd like to mix it with my mint tea and my black tea. It's wonderful stuff. If you've never grown lemon balm, try it. You'll love it. Lovage. Lovage is an important thing to have in your garden. Lovage it's a perennial that will quickly become a favorite in your herb garden. Its unforgettable flavor has notes of celery, anise, and cumin. And it grows to a massive 5 to 6 foot tall. And I absolutely love this stuff. Of course, we all know about marigolds, and we know the importance of it in our gardens. Not only for the beauty, but it has medicinal uses too, but also it keeps different insects off of different plants too, because they don't like the smell of it. Marshmallow. I grew this once because I was given the seeds from a dear friend, Little Jordan Farm. It's a perennial herb with the soft velvety leaves and pink flowers. It says both the leaves and roots are used in traditional medicine for their soothing properties. The roots of the plant were historically candied, creating a confection that would evolve over time into marshmallows, to what we know as marshmallows. Mugwort. You need this in your garden. Mugwort is an easy-to-grow perennial herb known for its aromatic dark green foliage and tiny reddish-brown flowers. It has numerous medicinal uses for your home. We all know about mullein. We have mullein that grows here in Arkansas. I mean, you don't have to even have the seeds around here because we've got so much of it. It loves to grow in some of the worst soil, and if you drive up and down our gravel road, you'll see it on the side of the road. You'll see it out in the pastures. It grows right here on the side of this holler. So we always have mullein, and Danny makes a tincture. He makes an oil for your ears out of it. He also dries the leaves. because mullein is fantastic for your lungs. Danny is not a smoker, but when he got COVID, he would crush up the leaves that we dried and put it in a pipe and smoke it and inhale that smoke. And it absolutely helped him through COVID because his lungs were awful. Peppermint, we all know about peppermint. There's all kinds of different peppermints and it'll take your garden over. But let me tell you something. If you're a tea drinker, and if you ever think that times get bad enough that you can't even buy tea, right here is the good stuff, and it's so good for you. It's good for your complexion. It's good for your indigestion. It's good for everything, digesting, everything. So, peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint, all kinds. The common plantain. This grows everywhere. The common plantain is a perennial herb with broad oval leaves that are edible, highly nutritious, and useful medicinally, particularly for skin care. Its tall flower spikes attract bees and other pollinators, and it also is good for your soil. Common plantain. Bunching onions. I've got these growing in the garden, and I'll show y'all here in a minute. If you grow any kind of onion that you don't, you know, I grow onions. I cannot grow big onions around here. I've tried and tried, but I don't really care how big my onions are. I just grow them, and I cook with them and eat them. But bunching onions, I love green onions. And these are a Tokyo long white. It's an heirloom bunching onions, and it's an onion that keeps giving, let me tell you something. And, you know, you can harvest the tops, or eat the bottom. The white part don't matter. Now, they don't get big. You won't get no big onion out of that. But if you love green onions like I do, this is the onion to plant because, like I said, it just keeps a giving. Nasturtium. I have these in my garden every year, but I have not planted any yet, so I have got to get these planted. But these are edible. They're good for you, and to me, they're beautiful in a garden. Nasturtium. Milkweed. Common milkweed is a perennial herb that grows 24 to 40 inches tall. It has broad leaves and clusters of pink star-shaped flowers. And the monarch butterflies absolutely rely on these plants. It's like a nursery for them, for the butterfly eggs. And it's like they just love them because they can go and lay their eggs in this milkweed. It's a beautiful plant too. Purslane. We have purslane growing everywhere. My chickens absolutely love it. I'll pull it up and I'll feed it to them, or I'll pull some and wash it real good and throw it in a salad. It tastes kind of like arugula is what it tastes like, and it's highly nutritious for you. So it is drought tolerant, and it's a good thing to have in your garden. If you don't already have it growing around your place like we do here, plant you some. Purslane. White sage. I love sage. This sage right here, white sage is a native California herb with silver leaves and blue spikes of flowers. The strongly aromatic plant is often grown to burn as incense. White sage attracts pollinators, and it's very good for honey production. Now, I have seen people grow this and sell them like at flea markets and stuff, because they'll take a bunch and they'll wrap it up at the end and wrap it up at the top of the bunch, and then they'll sell it for you to take that bunch that they've got tied up, and then you light the end of it and blow it out, and then just let the smoke, you know, fill the house, and it's supposed to make it smell good, and I'm sure there's other reasons. I got some of the prettiest sage in my garden, and I'm going to show it to y'all. It comes back every year beautifully, and it's even out there. When it's down below freezing, that sage is still out there. It is something else. But sage is something you need to have in your pantry, whether if you grow it or not. I use sage all the time in so many dishes. But if you grow it, if you can grow you some garden sage, do it. You will not be sorry. Borage. I have this in my kitchen garden. It has a lot of medicinal remedies. Has edible leaves and flowers, and it tastes like a little bit like cucumbers. Stinging nettle, we all have heard about stinging nettle. I've got a bunch of it dried and put up. They use it for culinary and medicinal uses. You can make a tea out of it, but look it up. If you don't know what stinging nettle is really good for, they'll give you all kinds of different things that stinging nettle is really highly good for. This is called the toothache plant, or the electric daisy, or buzz buttons, because the flower buds, if you put them in your mouth, it will numb the mouth when eaten. So that's why it's called the toothache medicine. I've never grown any of this, but I'm going to, and I'm going to keep the seeds and stuff, because if ever times got so hard that, you know, but just like back in the day, you couldn't run to a dentist. In fact, you had to pull your own teeth, I guess. But wouldn't it be something if you had something like this on hand? I've had toothaches, and it's not fun. Valerian, I've never grown this before, but it is, the roots of this plant is what's medicinal. It grows 3 to 5 foot tall, produces sweet scented pink flowers, and it's good for pollinators. But I guess the root is your most medicinal part of the plant. Wormwood, some of y'all have heard of wormwood. It's good for all kinds of different things. Research it. Wormwood is a striking silvery green perennial herb that can grow up to 5 foot tall. It has a sage-like scent and produces clusters of yellow flowers. The bitter leaves have numerous health benefits, but should be used with caution for the short periods only. So it's not something that you want to constantly use all the time. I got up because my camera's real bad about shutting off if I sit here long enough. Yarrow. A lot of y'all have heard about yarrow. This is very drought tolerant. The white yarrow produces clusters of delicate white flowers that attract pollinators. It also thrives in poor soil. But this hardy perennial is prized as a beneficial medicinal herb. So if you don't know much about yarrow, research it. Lemon mint, that's one of them other mints that I love to make tea out of. Anise. Anise is something you'll want in your herb garden. It is an annual Mediterranean herb. Both seeds and foliage have a sweet licorice flavor and is used in cooking and herbal remedies. And the bees and butterflies love it. We all know about basil, but this is called holy basil, and I've never grown holy basil. It says holy basil is also known as tulsi or kapoor. This important seed is sacred to Hindu people. The anise scented leaves can be made into a calming aromatic herbal tea. This queen of the herbs is used for all kinds of healing properties. So I'm going to plant some. And I never say this right. This is bee balm, is what it is. Bergamot bee balm is what I call it. Or horse mint. Its delicate lavender blooms are extremely attractive to butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds. It makes a lovely tea and also has many traditional uses as an herbal remedy. But I'm telling you, bees absolutely love it. I'm really excited about this. I've never grown black cumin, but I absolutely love cumin. Black cumin produces beautiful blue flowers and aromatic black seeds that have been used for centuries in the Middle Eastern and Indian cooking and as a traditional medicinal herb. So look up black cumin to see what kind of medicinal uses it has. Calendula, we all know about calendula. Beautiful flowers, edible petals. It's useful in culinary creations. It's a medicinal plant and also a gorgeous cut flower. And I will have them growing everywhere. And I'll show y'all in a little bit. Catnip is not something that I will plant. I don't have cats. Oh, there's a few feral cats around here. I guess I could plant it out where they could get to it. But if you got cats, they would love this. Catnip, which is in the mint family, is a perennial herb that cats adore. It's got an oil. It contains an oil that gives most cats a sense of well-being. So if you love your cats, plant you some of that. Cayenne pepper. We can't eat anything very hot, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of good remedies and medicinal properties in this. Of course, oregano. I've got this growing everywhere. It comes back every year. Chamomile is one of my favorite teas. You need that. That's one of the things you need in your kitchen garden. Chervil. I've never grown this, but I have ate it and I love it. Chervil is a delicate aromatic herb with a mild flavor reminiscent of anise and parsley. This French herb will add unique flavor to your salad, soups, and egg dishes. It's a cool season plant, but it thrives in the shade, so chervil, if you've never grown it. Fennel, I love fennel. I absolutely love it. I put fennel seeds, I crush them up, and I use them in my sausage, my homemade sausages, and my homemade spaghetti sauce. Florence fennel is also known as Finicchio and is grown as a vegetable and an herb. This cool weather crop forms a bulb of swollen stems with a delicious licorice flavor. So you can eat the leaves and you can eat the bulb. It's both good for you. And this right here is the purple coneflower, and I've got these growing. And there's all kinds of different medicinal things for coneflowers. Research it. You may want to plant some of those too. It says it's good brewed up as tea. I've never brewed it up as a tea. Some of y'all may have. Feverfew, get it in your garden too. It's a bushy perennial herb with daisy-like white flowers and deeply love green leaves. It has been prized for its medicinal properties since ancient times. So, plant you some feverfew. Horehound. I've never planted any of this, but I'm going to. It has been used in herbal teas or to make candy drops for cough relief. Now, that's one of the reasons I'm really attracted to this, because Danny coughs all year round. It don't matter if it's spring, summer, fall, winter. He coughs all the time. He always has. And I'm wanting to make him some homemade cough drops. And I'm wanting to use some of the anise in it. I mean, some of the horehound. I'm sorry. Some of the horehound. You ever heard of horehound cough drops that they sell? That's what that is. Hyssop. I've got that growing in the back garden too, and the bees go crazy over it. It is used in culinary and medicinal uses. So if you don't know much about hyssop, look it up, and I guarantee you're going to plant some of it. Lamb's ear. I love this stuff. Lamb's ear, also called woolly betony, is a perennial with purple flowers and soft silvery woolly leaves, reminiscent of a lamb's ear, and it's used in wound care, and it's drought tolerant, and it's a ground cover. It loves like stuff like rock gardens and stuff like that. And then here's one that I've never even seen really, and it's called stock. It's also called gillyflower or wallflower. It's a fragrant cottage garden favorite with showy double flowers. The cold-tolerant flower is popular for cutting garden edges and containers. It's a member of the cabbage family, and its flowers have a sweet flavor, also used to garnish sweet desserts. So if you've never heard of stock, that's what it is. So that's what I got in my ultimate medicinal herb collection, and that will be down in my description box. Now, some of y'all have been asking me, Miss Lori, what do you use for fertilizer? I'm going to tell you, and it's just maybe me, but as long as I've been gardening, I've used all kinds of fertilizers. Some fertilizers I just really didn't need to be using. Now, me and Danny do use a triple 13 when we're planting potatoes or sweet potatoes. We put it in the row and then put our potatoes down, you know, and then we don't. And sometimes we use it when we're growing corn. But for all my other vegetables, whether it be tomatoes, cabbage, cucumbers, it don't matter, bell peppers, I use Alaska fish fertilizer. I've been using this for several years and I absolutely love it. And I'll tell you another reason I love it, because it won't burn your plants up. I have burnt many plants up putting too much fertilizer. But this stuff is concentrate, and you just use a little bit in a 5-gallon bucket, mix it up, and you can fertilize a lot of your garden with it. It makes the foliage so green. It makes your blooms do so well. It just makes a healthy plant. So that is my main go-to fertilizer, fish fertilizer. Let me tell you something, it stinks. I ain't gonna lie to you. You use this, it stinks. But you'll get over that smell when you see how good it works. Sometimes I'll go out there and I'll make me a 5-gallon bucket in summertime, and I'll walk off and leave it and just let it sit and let it seep, you know, just stew in there for a little bit. And next day I'll come out and that stuff smells so bad I can't hardly use it. But let me tell you something, it works. So whether if it stinks or not doesn't matter, it works, huh? So I'm thinking about walking around a little bit, just showing y'all a few things. I just want to show y'all about the medicinal herbs. You know, we all talk about survival crops and stuff, and me and Mr. Brown will talk about that sometimes, what our survival crops are. But I don't think that people think much about a survival crop being herbs, stuff, flowers, stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, all these herbs have some kind of medicinal properties in them that if you can't get, if you cannot get, if time's got to where you could not get to a pharmacy, a store, to get the things that you need, and you got these herbs, and save the seeds on them, let some of them go to seed, save them. To me, this is survival crop right here, just as much as anything else that you plant in your garden to survive with. So, whether if you, whoever you buy your seeds from, don't matter. I want y'all to plant some herbs, and you've seen the kinds that I'm planting, and look them up. Look each one of them up so you'll know if you want to plant all of these, or if there's just a few that you would like to plant for your family to have on hand. So I just want to give y'all an idea of that. And when Mr. Brown is back around, we're going to talk about survival crops. What our survival crops are. Not what everybody else is or what they say it's supposed to be. But what survival crops are for your family. But I think we'll just walk around and look at a few things. Like I said, my garden was planted late, so there's not a lot of blooming or anything really producing right now, except I've been picking broccoli and of course garlic and onions and chives, just stuff like, and all kinds of herbs, stuff like that. Yes, strawberries. I got a few strawberries and just early stuff like that I've been picking. But as far as our summer stuff, it's only begun. So when it all really starts thriving, I want to bring y'all back. But anyways, just look around for a little bit. I've got this old trough full of zinnias. I want a lot of cut flowers. And this thing is going to be overflowing with zinnias. It's going to be beautiful. All them different colors. I just planted them just as thick as I could in there. And I think I even planted a few sunflowers in there. But my zinnias, I wanted a bunch of them this year. And I even come over here and filled this pot with them too. I want to show y'all what you can grow in one little pot. And I'll have to get the little things out of here because I don't remember what all of it's called. This is a geranium, of course. Look how pretty the color. It's supposed to be a peach color is what it's supposed to be. But this is just a little bucket that I found at a flea market. Somebody must have took it out. Hang on. But this is what it's called, what it looks like when it's blooming. It says best in larger plantings where its spreading habit is welcome. Well, all parts of this herb are edible. Use the leaves for tea and salads and add to recipes. So, I probably should have put this in a pear pot. I didn't know much about it. But anyways, I've got 3 different herbs in there, and I got the beautiful peach geranium, and it just all looks pretty in this old bucket. And then this old fish here, he's got these, I bought these lights off Amazon, and they're so cool. They're solar, and at night they light up and they look like little lightning bugs flying everywhere. I've got these everywhere sitting around. And I planted this white geranium in there. It's got a few more blooms. I have planted all kinds of stuff in this fish. I planted some of that tall ornamental grass coming up out of his mouth. And it done really well, then it died. It looked really neat too. And I have all kinds of hostas everywhere. These things, you can't kill them. And they grow in some of the worst soil you ever seen. Now, those that have been with me a while know that these 2 troughs used to sit in front of my house. But since we're fixing to build on the deck, Danny moved them. And he had to move them full of soil. And you talk about heavy, but he used the tractor. And what I used to plant in here was elephant ears. I planted it full, both of them full elephant ears and a few different flowers. But this time, I planted them full of zinnias. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to have a load of zinnias, and I cannot wait. These flowers make me so happy, and they are a wonderful cutting flower, and they will last me all through to up till winter. They will thrive, they'll get tall, you can cut and trim them, and they'll still keep putting on flowers. So anyways, that's what I done with these 2 tubs. All my troughs I planted full of zinnias, and I cannot wait for them to start blooming. It's going to be so pretty, y'all. Don't y'all think so? I love zinnias. It's probably my favorite, #1 flower. Now this little garden bed here, I've not done much with, but I do have 2 squash plants, and then I've got marigolds around them. This area right here, as you come in the gate, I am fixing to redo every bit of this, and I'm going to plant it full of hostas. because it's very poor soil and it'll do really good. And I also bought some more plants to go along my fence right here. All of this is stuff for the bees. It's bee balm and all different things for pollinators. This right here is salvia, and this is planted full of everything, and a lot of it has not bloomed yet. The bee balm and hyssop and all that has not bloomed yet. But, sorry about my thumb, but it's all in this bed right here, full of it. You can see these are starting to bloom. They're going to be beautiful. Some of this stuff bloomed early in the spring. This is where just a lot of some of my medicinal stuff is planted, all in there. And if you'll look right here, that is nothing but oregano. And you can see the mint coming up. You can see back here, I've still got tulle over some of my beds. I'm going to be able to take that off here in just a little bit. Over here, I planted this bed full of zinnias too and wildflowers, and they are coming up. They're not very tall or big yet, but you can see how full. And this right here was beautiful. That was nothing but a burst of red. It was so pretty, but it's starting to die back. And what I do is I go and I prune all the dead off the top, and then it'll come back fuller, and the flowers, it'll just keep blooming for me. But right now, it's kind of ugly over here because nothing's bloomed yet, except for my salvia. And, yeah, there's a bunch of flowers planted there. So I can't wait for them to get on up and start blooming. My daylilies are along the fence. I'm going to get some different things, herbs and stuff to plant around this. And then I've got some herbs in here. Let's see. Some of these I'm new to. This, oh yeah. This is a curry plant. I remember now. You talk about smell good, but when you're making any kind of Indian food, a curry or anything, this is what the plant looks like. And it smells so good. Now, let me see if I remember what this is. It's pretty. It's a pretty plant. Let me get the thing out. It says, oh yeah, this is a tricolor sage. Never grown this before. That's why I went ahead and bought it. But I think this will be wonderful to cook with, to dry and put up. But I'm going to fill the rest of this up with something. I just don't know yet. This bed here is about done. This is where some of my broccoli was. In fact, I got a broccoli head that I need to... You can see the bugs are taking it over. But I've got a broccoli head that I'm fixing to pick. Then I'm going to clean all this up. And there is some garlic in here. But I'm going to pull the rest of this broccoli up. I'm going to put some of it in compost, give some up to the chickens. Some more oregano. But I also planted some zucchini down in here that's trying to come up. So when the broccoli comes up, then my zucchini will start growing in here along with garlic. And hopefully the garlic will keep some of the bugs away from the zucchini. That is my cherry tree. Or cherry bush. Now when you're planting in a small space, and this is what I call my kitchen garden. This is behind the house. And this is where I walk out to when I'm wanting to either harvest or just to come out and pick something to cook that night. Because I can come out here at any time, I guarantee you, I'll be picking something and harvesting it. This right here is cucumbers. They're starting to take off. I planted them late too. I've got a little row of green beans. I've got a squash. I think there's a squash over there too. This is a squash. Another little row of green beans. So you see what I've got planted in this one bed. Cucumbers, green beans, squash, green beans, marigolds, borage, and there's a little bit of fennel. I've been picking on it and I think I killed some of it, but there is some fennel there. I need to weed some of this stuff. Now when I planted these green beans, I thought they were bush, but they end up being pole beans. That kind of irritates me, but it'll be okay. I can come out here if I'm wanting a squash for supper, a cucumber, a handful of green beans to saute in some butter. I mean, this board just really took off and doing good, and the bees are absolutely going to love it. So you can see what you can plant, and this is a 4 by 8, I believe. A 4 by 8. Not very tall, but it does the job. This one right here was one of our first ones. Now I want you to know, this thing was full of compost and dirt last year. And you see, now it's even got old logs and stuff like that on the bottom to help fill it up. But you see how it went down. But that's okay, because I have a hard time with rabbits and stuff. And this kept them away from my broccoli. But the broccoli's just about had it. I've also got tomato in it. I think I got some pepper plants planted down in there. So there's a lot I could do with this right here. And like I said, there's 2 zucchini plants in here too. So when I pull up the old plants, then the others will start growing, and I'll have summer plants in here. Now I've got some new hens, some young hens that I've got out here in the garden. They're over there in the, that's what we call our nursery, but actually it's got some young hens in it right now, because we can't put them with the old hens right now in the rooster, because they would absolutely be mean to them. But we let them out in the garden. They scratch and scratch. Well, of course, they got in here with my bunch of onions, and you can see what they done. But whatever. But anyways, they'll stand back up. But also, we had a big rain last night that kind of knocked some stuff down. But this is what I call bunching onions. You see how they grow. And they'll just keep doing that. They'll just keep growing and growing and growing. And I just come out here and cut back what I need, and it'll just come right back. It looks kind of messed up right now. You see the chickens, this is why they're coming in here, because they're eating this. And they love it. So that's why this garden looks kind of bad right now. This is my compost back here. This is where we throw all of our leaves, compost, anything that we compost is right back here. And I come back here and I threw some watermelon back here, and I don't know if they're going to make it or not, but I wanted to see how well they would do out here in the compost. They are growing. They are growing and putting on a few blooms already. And of course I had to put this little fence around them to keep chickens from digging them up. So we'll see how they do. This out here were all my irises, and of course they bloom early, and these were all purple irises, and you talk about pretty, and I think I may have a picture of them, I'm not sure, but they were beautiful. There's my hens back there. They're probably wanting out, but I don't think I'm going to let them out right now. They can go up there and go to roost. They're growing really well. Won't be long, we'll have to let them out of there and put them in the bigger hen house. Right there's my muscadine vine. I've got some tomatoes down here planted. Now, this is where I had my Brussels sprouts planted in this bed. And they grew and looked beautiful, but they just stopped and didn't make any Brussels sprouts. So, I may try it for the winter. But these are Cherokee purples. That's Danny's favorite. So, I planted some of those for him. I think there's some garlic in there too. And back there in this one, now these are old beds, y'all. I don't know how much longer they're even going to last. But I've got a beautiful cabbage. And, wish my camera quit doing that. And, this squash plant, I'm thinking it may be butternut. I can't remember. It looks like butternut. But it come up by itself. But see, I had some planted back here last year. And then back over here, a couple of them come up too. So I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Then I've got a couple of tomato plants planted with them. And I've got onions and marigolds around the bottom. This is what you call companion planting. And everything in there is really thriving, y'all. But over in this bed is where I'm starting some raspberries again. Now I had raspberries that went down this fence back here. And I don't know what I done to them. I think when I pruned them, I done it wrong, and I guess I killed them. I don't know. But for several years, I was getting a bunch of raspberries. And then they just left me, and I don't know what happened. But anyways, I'm trying to start some new ones right here. And a volunteer, I think that's either butternut or acorn squash come in. I think there's 2 plants there, and I just left them. I've got cabbage here. This is tulle. You can buy this off Amazon, or you can go to eBay or Etsy or eBay, and you can buy big bulk of tulle. And this is wonderful to keep the moths and the bugs and stuff off your cabbage, because I'm going to show you what they do if you don't. Whoops, you see this? So I finally threw some more tulle over this and hoping for the best. But I am going to fertilize all this cabbage pretty soon with my fish fertilizer. That one over there looks really good. But at the end of this bed was a bunch of onions and stuff, and I've been pulling them. So I will leave this tulle on here. It doesn't make the garden look very pretty, but I'm telling you, it will save your cabbage plants for sure. So we're still back here in the kitchen garden. There's so much that you can plant in a little space. I've got, you can see there's a mullein plant right there, but I've got onions planted against the fence. This one bed here in the high tunnel, this was where I grew lettuce. But all the lettuce, because of the heat, it's done with right now. But I've got thyme, I've got parsley, I've got basil, peppers. These are bell peppers. I think these are the red, I forget what they're called. But anyways, the bell peppers, of course my marigolds to kind of keep some of the varmints away. Now last year I had a huge rosemary right here, and this is what come back. This is dill, and this is some of my lemon balm. These are little cherry tomatoes. Over here is another bell pepper plant and marigolds. And I still have room right back here to plant some stuff. So you can have a whole lot going on in this one little bed. Right here I've got cantaloupe and zinnias planted, and I've got this over cantaloupe, and I think I can take this off now. The reason I had that over that was to keep, I've got a barn rat that wants to come out here and destroy some of my plants. So there's a cantaloupe back there, it's blooming. Maybe he'll leave it alone, I don't know. I'll be upset if I come out here and he's done ate half of these up. But right here it'll be a border of zinnias and then my cantaloupe right in here. This right here is what I'm fixing to take down. That's some spinach. I can probably harvest the rest of that. I've got some French radishes here. I think I've got some, yeah, I may have to replant a couple of this stuff because I'm fixing to redo this. This is where I'm fixing to put all them herbs is going to go in this bed right here. So I'm fixing to have to redo all of this, which is fine. We can do it. Right there, I think, is a volunteer, maybe pumpkin. And I put this tool around it to keep, gee, look. Well, something's done jumped on that one, broke it. I was going to try to keep the rabbits off of it. They won't get in that tool. This right here is a dwarf apple tree. And I want you to look. It's got 2 little apples on it. And it did have some blooms on it. It's not looking very healthy right now, but maybe it'll straighten up just a little bit. And then, of course, I got this apple tree right here. It had a few blooms, but it's young. It's not put off any apples yet. Right here is my shade cloth that I am fixing to put up because it is fixing to start getting hot in this high tunnel. But I wanted to show y'all this. This is a fig tree that's coming back beautifully. It does every year. It takes my whole high tunnel over. Marigolds, zinnias, tomato plant. But I want you to look at this beautiful garden sage. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it comes back every single year and makes some of the best sage. So in this little space right here, I'm going to have a bunch of cut flowers. I've got some tomato plants right here. They're late too. My marigolds. Then right back there, it's funny, that is a tiny patch of corn. And I really didn't think it'd make it. In fact, some of it got ate. But I'm just going to leave it. I did fertilize it. I'm going to pull some dirt up around it, and I'm just going to let it grow, keep care of it, and see what it makes. Just a little patch right there. So anyways, this is just one side of the high tunnel. But I just absolutely think that this garden sage is the most beautiful thing that you can plant in your garden, in a bed. And of course I want to bring y'all back when everything really starts putting out and starts blooming. Back there I've got some carrots. Then I've got some more squash right here. Carrots, borage, mint growing behind it back there. Mint everywhere. It'll just take your garden over. More mint. Some different plants for the bees and the butterflies. And I got some gladiolas right here. And all of this is oregano. So I still got a lot of work done, but you know, I'm never home. Now I planted strawberries in the green stalk and they have done really good. And I'm trying to keep the runners from, there's another one. I have been getting strawberries off here. I couldn't put any down here below because the rabbits and stuff was getting them. But they've been doing really good, and like I said, I've been picking strawberries. So I think strawberries is a good thing to grow in one of these green stalks. Now if you want to look really pretty, you could let the runners run everywhere. But I don't let my runners because I want my plant, my main plant, to get full. And I did pull a lot of the blooms off of these because they say if you do that, the next year you'll have bigger berries. So we'll see. Okay, now we're out at the big garden in the greenhouse. This right here is my purple coneflowers I was telling y'all about. I haven't got anything planted in my wheelbarrow yet, or any of these buckets yet. I did get this full last year. It grew beautiful zinnias. This thing was just full of them. So this year, I planted more zinnias, but I also filled this full of wildflowers. So it's going to be really pretty when everything gets on up and really blooms around the greenhouse. Danny's potatoes are looking good. He's a little disappointed in them. He said they're not doing as good as they did the last 2 years. But we'll do a video on that and let him talk to you about that and what he thinks is going wrong. Y'all remember me planting sweet potatoes? I need to get in there. And you can see some of them are vining. I need to put them vines so they'll crawl up the cattle panel there. But they're really doing good. I fertilized them a while back with fish fertilizer. Danny's jalapenos have not really took off yet, but they will. But you see his potatoes out there. Now, you can see that we don't have a bare dirt garden here. We believe in things a little bit different than some people. We don't do this is kind of what you might call the no-till. We let the grass and everything pull in the moisture and the nutrients to the soil. The only part you'll see that we try to keep the grass out of is the row that each plant is in. But we do, as they get big enough, do let the grass grow among it. We don't do the black garden plastic ground cover. We don't till it down to the dirt where it's all bare dirt, because bare dirt does not pull in nutrients or moisture, or it will, but it doesn't keep it. Each blade of grass you see here, or weed, pulls in nutrients from the sun, and it also helps keep moisture in this ground. You can see back there is a mullein plant. They come up just voluntarily here and there. Right through here, Mr. Brown Saturday planted okra and green beans. So this long thing and then this short row is okra and green beans. And we could have done another row of something through there, but you know, we plan on traveling this summer, so we're trying hard not to overdo the planting, because we'd have to have somebody really come take care of all of it, and you know, everybody's busy. I do need to get there and help them start climbing that fence though. But the sweet potatoes, I think, are doing pretty good. Some of y'all asked about the she shed. It's still out there. I told Dan, I said, look, my sign's falling down. Gonna have to fix that. But anyways, I wanted to talk about herbs and how important they are, and just kind of give y'all of what's going on right now. And there's just not a whole lot. But as time goes on, in another month or so, there'll be a big change in the growth, and the blooming, and the harvesting. 2 months will really be big. I can't wait to get that full. I always plant that full of flowers. My barrels, my water barrel's pretty full because we've had some rain. And like I said earlier, we're going to have a deck built in front. It'll start here at the side door, and then it's going to come around the front, and it's going to have big stairs going down the side, and a pergola halfway. We're having a shed built. The same people are building the shed for our camper, because we want to take care of that thing. If it gets too much sun, storm, hail, whatever, it's hard on those, and they can start leaking. So that was a must-have. They still got to finish putting the metal on it and everything, and then coming down the side a little bit, but we had to get that done. So anyways, I've also got my wash tub way back there, and I haven't done nothing to it yet. So next time I show it to you, it should be looking pretty good. It just takes time, don't it? It just takes time. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed sitting with me talking about gardening stuff. This is just how we do it on this hill. You do things how you do it on your hill. And my tripod's standing out there. Yeah, those stairs will come down. They're going to save those stairs, though, to put on the other side going down. But the deck will come way out there, and it'll be kind of triangle, not triangle, but maybe like an octagon shape in the front. It won't be just straight or rectangle. Whew, I got a lot of work to do when I retire. Lord, give me the strength. I know He will. Right up there I've got lemon balm. You see I just got it hanging. It's drying. Right here's a little bit of oregano that I just harvested, and it's just hanging there on the mantle drying. Over here's a little bit of parsley. Right here is some of my lavender. It's already dried. I'll mention to Mr. Brown that he needs to get his fanny home. He needs to come see y'all, don't he? But anyways, he will be back, and he'll be joining us before you know it. So God bless everybody. Y'all get your hands out in the dirt, get to gardening, plant you some herbs. Mosquitoes are bad. It don't matter how big your garden is, or just, you can plant a lot in a little spot. So do it. Not only would it be healthier for you mentally, physically, but it just makes you feel good. So God bless everybody. We'll see y'all in a couple days.